Hello again, we've got more Bloodborne board game Forsaken Cainhurst Castle stuff today. Same as before, pretend to open it because we haven't done that already. Open it up, we've got the boards, we don't care. We've got the Cainhurst Servant, which is what we're going to be painting today. Cain's Servant, I think that's his name. So, as always, as the previous 4 videos we've done, we've got the clean water, we've got the dirty water, we've got the kitchen roll, we've got the wet palette. Shut up about the sponge, it's horrible, I know, I need to replace it, but you can't replace footage that you've already filmed unless you film more footage. But anyway, pop on the sheet, make sure it's nice and wet, don't be weird about it. Use a card to get rid of the wrinkles on it so it's nice and flat so the paint stays on it nice. Get your miniature, we'll get him primed black. Ready for some zenithal highlighting. To zenithal highlight, you need an airbrush, you need thinner, you need cleaner. Flow improver helps, but I don't have any. And you need something to highlight with, and I'm using Liquitex white ink. Again, you don't have to use an airbrush to do this. You can do the slap chop method, which is dry brushing on white onto a dark primer, making sure you sort of like work up into the brighter tones as you progressively go up, and then you can use contrast paints on top of that. And that's your slap chop method. You know, go check out some tutorials on YouTube. There are loads about slap chop method, and it's a really great and easy method to get quick paints on lots of miniatures. But anyway, I just do the zenithal highlight because I have the airbrush and I just find it's worthwhile using and doing. So to begin our little candlestick waving servant, we've got some Basilicanum Grey, which is a lovely grey-y, dull kind of colour, which is good for basing, and it will react really nicely with the contrast that we have with the Zenithal Prime. So I'm just going to get the whole outfit, I want to call it outfit, coated with some Basilicanum Grey. Once that's all coated up and dry, I can move on to some Garagaxua, which is a dark browny kind of tone, because these guys have this kind of like burnt kind of flesh to them. So I thought this would be a nice colour for the exposed skin. So getting it over the arms, getting it over the legs, getting it over the face, and then we'll have some lovely skin on our mini. Some lovely skinny on our mini. So then we're going to take some Mournfang Brown, which is a lovely, lovely brown colour, and just tickle that onto the sort of little pouches that he's got. These little lovely accessories on his outfit, super cute. He could do a little get ready with me in the morning on TikTok if he wanted. So paint those in with the Mournfang Brown, get it nice so it sort of separates nicely from the Basilicanum Grey underneath. Then take some Wordbearer's Red, which is a lovely burgundy colour. I did thin this out a bit too much on my first pass of this, so I took some more paint, mixed it in, and then just started bulking out the colour a bit more. It's always better to sort of, over thin your paint rather than over thick your paint. So then I can just start building up a bit more colour here and there onto the little head wrap that he's got, his little sleepy nightcap. I think, is it a sleepy nightcap because he's got candlestick as if he's like a Charles Dickens novel character. I'm going to take some more Mournfang Brown and I'm going to use that to highlight the skin and making sure I'm just targeting the sort of higher up areas, parts that are sort of top down facing. Then I can take some Ashapti Bone and I can paint in the little, what's it called? The ruffle? Hang on. I need to Google it. A ruff? A ruff? Is it really called a ruff? What a terrible name. I thought it was like a ruffel or something. We can take some mid-tone greys like Ishan Grey, Mechanica Standard Grey. You can mix in some white and start creating those highlights, which will be targeted on the higher up areas of the outfit. And then you can just start blending down into the darker tones, which are just more of the sort of pure grey, and then mix in some blacks to create the shadows, just creating that nice contrast between light and dark. And the great thing about the Zenithal Prime with the contrast is it keeps that light and dark contrast so that you can actually use that as a map to start adding extra colours on and beefing it up, which is a really handy thing about Zenithal highlighting. But I can do the same again with the beard, paint it grey, add in some white highlights, mix in some darker tones. I'm not being too careful with this apparently, but hey, you gotta do what you gotta do. Then I'm going to take some Bugman's Glow, which is a nice kind of dark pinky colour, and I'll use that to highlight the sort of mid-tones on the hat, on the nightcap. I don't know why I find that so funny. I can take some Mephiston Red, which is a more vibrant red tone, and just use that to add in some different reds into the nightcap. just to make it seem a bit more interesting. Once I've got that done, I'm going to take this Grey Knight Steel, which is a really lovely cold steel colour, which I'm going to use as the base for the candlestick that he's holding. It's just a bit more different to gunmetal. It's a lot brighter, it's a lot cooler, and a lot shinier, I find. And then I can take some standard like gunmetal colour, which is some lead belcher, paint that onto his little walking stick Cain thing that he has. Oh my god, it's a Cain for Canehurst Castle. That's so not funny. For the flames on the candles, I'm going to pop on some Avalon Sunset, which is a nice standard mid-yellow tone, over each of the 3 flames, to which I can then add in some Mephiston Red from before, and just add that to the bottom of the flame. And then I can pop on some Flash Glitz Yellow into the mix as well. Then what I'm going to do is I'm going to dry brush on, rather than airbrush a sort of glow effect, because his arm is so small, I'm just going to dry brush on some white onto his arm so that I can create the glow effect, then add in a very, very, very sort of glazed thin layer of Flash Glitz Yellow onto the arm, onto the sort of edge of the candle, just to kind of create that very, very kind of basic soft OSL. I don't want it too strong, but I do want a little bit of something so it's not just unpainted basically. But I don't want to airbrush it because I think it would just, I don't have enough control, quite frankly, to be able to create something like that with an airbrush. So doing it this way, I think helps. Then I can just add a bit more glazing, a bit more yellow onto the sort of side of the body where the flame will be, and then just sort of blend it out a bit, add a bit of water to kind of like tone it down a bit. And we should have a sort of very basic kind of OSL on the arm. Nothing too crazy, just keeping it relatively simple. So at least there's something there, you know? And that's pretty much it. That's kind of how I did my Cain's servant, Cain's assistant, Cain's butler. Yeah, so that's another one done. That is 5 out of 7 of the Canehurst Castle collection. And if you did enjoy today's episode, please be sure to drop it a like, subscribe if you haven't already, drop a comment below, tell me what you thought, tell me what you want to see. And if you think you want to support the channel further, maybe consider checking out my Patreon, the link is on the screen, if you want to join this lovely collection of super duper people who already support the channel. You can find behind the scenes content of all the bigger projects that I have coming out. You can vote on future projects. I usually put a poll up when I have ideas of things that I want to make, if you want to be involved in, you know, what you want to see. And if not, that's fine. I just appreciate you joining me on the channel. I appreciate you coming along, painting with me, sending me what you're painting. It's all fantastic. I love seeing it. But yeah, that's it for today. Again, if you did enjoy it, please drop it a like. It helps a lot, helps with the algorithm. And yeah, I'll see you next time for more lovely Bloodborne board game stuff. Bye-bye now.